Black Box Radio. We're in the RONAreport. We have Brother Eric from Black Yield Institute today. Hey, Brother Eric.
Peace, Queen. Thank you so much for allowing me to be within the RONAreport.
Absolutely. We need your voice because you out here still servicing the people. So we definitely need to hear that. So what are you particular? What's Black Yield doing right now? What is Black Yield per se? And what are you guys doing now within this moment, this virus that we're experiencing?
Yeah, so Black Yield Institute is an organization that works toward Black land and food sovereignty. And so our work is during so-called normal times, making sure that our community has good food that comes from us. We grow our food. We are working on a grocery store and doing a couple of other things to build movement. But in this time, we've had to pivot our approach and work with others in the community at large, but still headquartered in South Baltimore, Cherry Hill, to make sure that our community has food. So we've been doing, we set up a distribution hub and just making sure that people have food, other resources like hygiene products and workbooks for children, games, things of that nature, and then also serving as a space for other folks from West Baltimore, East Baltimore to gather and share with community as well. But we're doing that with a few different partners.
Okay, and you're doing that within the Cherry Hill community, right?
Yes, we're distributing in the Cherry Hill community, but we have other people coming to us and taking it to their community as well.
Amazing. And this just distribution, you said you set it up. Is this with a partnership that's actually funding or giving you food and workbooks and the things that you're actually distributing to the community? How are you procuring those items?
Yeah, so we're Black Yield Institute is a part of a member organization crisis response team. We call ourselves the Cherry Hill Crisis Response Team. And we got together and all of us put our heads together and then thought about who we have in our networks and how we can best serve our community in this tough time. And so different folks are procuring different resources. We have the Rich program who's procuring resources from different partners like, healthcare institutions where we brought to the table the food element, particularly prepared meals through partnerships with two local small businesses and other organizations are bringing other resources. So you have Rich Program, Elevate Baltimore, Youth Resiliency Institute, and Cherry Hill Development Corporation that we're all working together and procuring from different folks, including funders as well.
I love it. So before this event that we're in, this COVID-19, did you have these type of partnerships? Because this sounds really like creative and different organizations like saying, okay, we're going to work together for the greater good. So was this something that was in place before, or this was a reaction to the actual virus?
Yeah, so it was in place before. We are very much a movement organization and recognize that our greatest resource is the relationship. And so all of the organizations that I just mentioned, we all had relationships. It was just one of the elders, Baba Michael Middleton, brought us together to say, how can we actually use our resources and our brains to actually respond in this moment? So it has deepened our relationships, I will say that. And I'll have to be real, during this time, not only are we making sure that our community have what we need, we had fun too. We laugh, we play music, you know what I mean? We have a good time. So it's really allowing us to deepen those relationships in this time. So I am grateful for that, to be honest.
That is amazing. When you can deepen community and enrichen those, make them richer, in this time and this, because we're all surviving all together. So that's a great thing in it. And once we come out of that, imagine a relationship that you built and grinding together.
Absolutely. And it's happening already. When we take a break on the weekends and stuff, I'm like, man, where y'all at?
You miss them.
Yeah, absolutely. We're in the trenches together. You can't help but have that love and respect and admiration for the people you work with.
Amazing. I got to come out and see this. I
You
have to
should.
bring.
You
I
should.
got a Rona movement. I got to come see that.
844 Round V Road.
Okay,
Anytime.
yeah. We're gonna definitely come through there and got to a Rona camera, a Rona community camera on that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, because that is some amazing movement. So you're still in the food distribution movement, even with this virus, but just in a kind of like a different form.
Yeah, for sure. So we pivoted that way. However, we're also growing food still. Some of our other activities have had to halt a little bit,
Hmm.
but we're still growing food. We're still in the process of cultivating the earth and planting seeds. But this piece around distributing of meals and partnering with other folks, that was just a pivot. And so we're trying to figure out how to utilize that what we already have, including money, trying to flex money from different sources to
Hmm.
continue the response, but then also making sure that we're growing food and even attempt advocating for the use of more land as we've been doing before, but especially making the case that now is the right time for us to expand um, how much food we're able to grow. And so we're working on that as well.
Exactly. What are you growing per se? What are your crops?
So right now it's a tricky time for local farmers unless you have like hoop houses or high wind tunnels.
Hmm.
But for us right now, we overwintered some collard greens and some kale and a couple of other things. But those are the two major things that we have right now.
Hmm.
And then we're going to be putting in the ground some potatoes and a few other crops. Our farmer brother Floyd got that on lock. So yeah, that's what we're working on right
I
now.
got some collards over there, bro.
Oh yeah,
What?
we got collards like right now. They probably taller than all of us. You know.
What?
Yeah, well, they've been
What?
yeah they've been good. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I got to come see y'all. Give me some of them collards. I'm a
Please
Southern
do.
girl. We does the collards, and I eat kale like I'm like a goat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got
So
some in the freezer right now. So I mean, we can
oh
harvest some for you. You come out. You know. Yeah, we take care of that. We'll take care.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You my man, my man. Okay, so let's. Are you a vegan?
No, no. So I do
Mm-hmm.
eat mostly plant based. My family and I we don't purchase meat, but if we're offered it, particularly fish, we will eat it. But
Okay,
we just try to eat as close as we can to the earth.
got it, got it, got it, got it, and that's understandable. All right. So, are you actually the one who? So I heard you said you have a farmer, so that he's actually doing the cultivating and planting and nurturing of the bush, or is that something you do also?
Sure, I support. So my
You
role
support. Okay.
as servant director is really to make sure that all of things are in place and that we're moving forward. But Brother Floyd is our farmer. We also have two organizers and an administrative organizer as well. So we all chip in as best we can. And I
So you
work
bring the resources and make Black Yield go, and more or less.
exactly. I mean, and then also I do some other things like around the political education and research
Hmm.
and other just like action network or coalition building work.
Hmm.
So I do those pieces, but in terms of the farming, primarily day to day, we are the harvest is plenty, and so like in the figurative and the and the literal harvest
Hmm.
is plenty, and so we all divvy it up. But I support as best as I can on a weekly basis when I'm out there at least 2 to 3 times a week for sure.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah. So brother Eric, you got to tour me. We got to we
Oh, for
got to
sure, it's
see.
done. It's done.
Yeah, I got to see this. So that's amazing, amazing. But I've been, we wanted you to come in studio, but we just had to change it up, because of what we're going through. But you got to come in studio and really expound on, because inner city farming and the propensity for food deserts for Black people are planned, they're scheduled, they're in our communities. And is Cherry Hill considered a food desert per se?
Yeah, so based on what the experts would the language that the experts would use,
Hmm.
Cherry Hill would be considered a food desert. A key part of our work and what we do, but also what we teach through our political education, is that it is, as you talked about, very much planned and based on political, and by political in this case, I mean power dynamics, right? It's
Yeah.
the imbalance
Control.
of power. It's absolutely. And so our work is about control. How can Black people control more of the food and land resources that we have ancestrally and contemporarily been connected to?
Mm-hmm.
And so for that, in that case, we definitely want to speak truth to power in that, in saying that Cherry Hill has experienced food apartheid for a long time.
All right, Black Box Radio. We're with Brother Eric from Black Yield. He's back with us, guys, because guess what? We had a technology fart, or something didn't work right. So we're going to do a 2-piece with this brother. So we're getting an update to the time that you came on before. So Black Yield, we know about that in Cherry Hill, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And so what's going on with you guys now? We're in May. Last time we talked to you was April. So what's going on with Black Yield?
Yeah, first I just want to give thanks for the return, and to give an update.
Mm-hmm.
So in May, we are still, cooking and still moving. Last time we talked, we were transitioning to a distribution hub away from just doing giveaways. So we're in full throttle with warehousing, processing, and sharing food goods as well as other resources, hygiene goods to not just Cherry Hill, but other communities in South Baltimore, and different churches and different organizations are giving away. And then we're also just, actually further along in the growing season as well at our farm. So it's pretty good, and we got some other stuff we're doing on digital stuff, so that we still engage our community and keep the works going. So yeah.
That's amazing because you guys were that I think the time we talked, you were going from that 840 from the resource center, right?
Yeah, so yeah, we're still at the resource center, and instead of just giving out meals and giving out boxes from the center, we've
Mm-hmm.
had a lot of space, and we're able to just kind of receive food donations and purchase food and get it out to more folks rather than just giving it out from the one place. We're spreading it out,
Mm-hmm. So you're kind of like you got legs now.
Yeah, a little bit. We transformed the old school cafeteria into a warehouse, so it's
Amazing.
legit.
And that's great because now you've created this system. If this ever were we even to think for something to happen, you guys almost have a system in place.
Exactly, and
A
we're
food
figuring it out.
operation. Yeah,
Exactly,
you figured it out, and and you also grow on
and
top
we
of
are
that.
growing. Yeah, so
Yeah, you'll be able to replenish. Wow.
we're attempting to do. In addition to bringing food in the community that comes from other Black farmers in Baltimore, around Maryland, and in our region. So that's what we're trying to do, or that's what we're doing, and we're doing it alongside other organizations on the ground. So it's a beautiful thing, and we have learned a lot in terms of logistics and things of that nature. And so, I'm fingers crossed, God forbid, but if something like this were to happen, we are certainly in a position where we can hold ourselves down for sure.
It's amazing. You guys, and I must say, you might want to kind of document this as something that can be implemented in different communities. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, give thanks. Yeah,
I need that 7% though, bruh.
Oh man, here we
Man,
go.
you drive a hard bargain. That's 7%. That was just 3 words.
bruh, that was 15 words. Get it right.
I don't know what kind of margin she think
I
you
know,
working
I
with.
know.
Right, I need that 7%. That's the number of completion. So we just stay at 7. But really, real talk. I'm always trying to stick my toe in people's stuff. But for real, when it comes to the human, that for us to figure out food chains
Yeah,
and
yeah,
to create supply chains,
yeah.
is it is almost what life is, because without them we don't live.
Certainly.
So so what you guys are doing can be implemented, and you've taken just the resources in your community. It's not like somebody brought you something in. You're taking a school that's closed
Mm-hmm.
and using it as a warehouse, and now it's closed today. Everything is closed for the rest of the year, so you know where you stand with that. You're not moving.
Right.
So that's an amazing thing. I I'm coming to see it.
Oh, give thanks. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And it's something that you just revelation that came. I guess at this moment, it's we really didn't plan to do this. This moment created the opportunity for that, and you're absolutely right. So now you got production side, and now the processing side, and distribution. So it's interesting. Till this moment, I guess I didn't even. We just in the
7%.
trenches doing the work. I ain't think about it.
7%. All of them. That's
Maybe
all
we
the
talk 2%, and you know what I mean, and figure out some vegetables.
But really, what you guys are doing is amazing, and I can't wait. Next week we're gonna I'm gonna really look at it. So
sure.
I'll be able to do a community camera and really show the people what we're talking about. So it's like we can have this update, and then we definitely gonna have a visual for the people. They'll be able to see what you guys have actually done. So that to me is so amazing. So you still got them collars over there, bro, and them KOs. Holla at me. What's going on with my collars?
No, they went to flour. They went to flour. They're not going to be any good to you. I mean, you can try them out, but they're not going to be as tasty as they were.
The devil is a lie.
Yeah, life continues. You know how that goes.
Them collars is special. You got to get them at a certain time, though. They get
and so we overwintered those, and so they pretty much just like at a place where they're like, all right, we're done, and we're gonna be planting more. We already got some potatoes in, and some herbs and things that just over the last couple of weeks. But I promise you, I'm gonna get you some things as soon as we can. And I don't like to use that word, but I'm using it because I'm sincere about that. But when you come, you can try it. They just not going to be.
No. We're gonna wait until after you replant. I mean, listen, the earth is a beautiful thing. It's gonna bring something back. So let's just wait on, because I don't want to talk about black yield, my 2%. Excuse me, 7%. I can't. So I want to make sure when I eat, I'm eating correctly. But I mean, I remember you said the collard is almost high as you said they were very high. I was like, wow, if I get in them, I'm gonna make me some collard greens.
Yeah. We'll check them out. I'll show you what I'm talking about. But we are, like you said, in a new cycle, and we will have some other things, and also we got some infrastructure projects that we're in the middle of. So you'll be able to see that as well. Hoop house repair and a couple of other things as well.
Yeah, and this is the time that when it comes to farming and urban farming, the build out is now.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we're particularly seeing, before people were thinking about urban farming and it might help, but now you see that it is a substantial help, and we need that backbone in these communities because these food deserts are real and they're playing.
For sure.
So urban farming needs to now propagate how to get bigger.
Yes, and we're figuring out how to do that in a way, and why we, not just Black Yield Institute, but folks who are doing this work across the city and even across the country, particularly cohorts and collectives of Black people, figuring out how do we not only aggregate our skills and our knowledge, but also being able to get regional food to one another, where somebody's growing some things in the Carolinas that we can't get here. Because the weather is different and the land is different, and being able to trade, so I've been a part of those conversations to figure it out. And so we're getting closer to that. We're getting closer.
That's amazing. There we go. That's called supply chain here.
Yeah.
Because now you got like the South of Florida that's hot all the time, so your fruits.
Mm-hmm.
And more tropical, you can you understand what I'm saying? You can move stuff around, so that's great. And if we could do and empower Black farmers and start Black jobs, it's
beautiful. We're working with this organization that we're a member of called National Black Food and Justice Alliance, and actually I am a part of a work group where we're administering a survey. I have a couple of our staff organizers at Black Yield Institute reaching out to Black farmers to get a sense of what they're growing, if they're interested in doing some like regional aggregation. So we're collecting data now and letting folks know, so we know who the farmers are, what farmers have, and then folks, in our communities, particularly organizations, find out, well, what do you want, so we can make connections. And so we're attempting to do that because at our farm, Cherry Hill Urban Community Garden, we're not growing everything, and we're attempting to. We're sourcing from some folks. We're not getting everything we want to, and so we're still working on that. And so part of that is the information gathering, and then the next step is just really like you talked about that. That food chain supply, food
The
supply chain.
implementation of it, yeah.
Exactly. And so we're making strides toward that so that we can make sure that we are supporting black farm businesses and black and other black producers that produce goods, and making sure we getting those goods to our people. So that's a part of the organizing work as well.
That is amazing, because if we don't, we can't be in a situation where we wait on someone else to eat.
For sure.
And even if we're not even waiting, the food that's available, is that the food that you want to eat? Let's be
For
clear.
sure. 100%. I mean, that's really the crux of the issue that we've been talking about, with food apartheid. That's the crux of the issue. It's not just the it's easy to say, well, there's not good food in the community, but the deeper than that is that there aren't foods there that our ancestors had. We're not able to practice Sankofa in the truest sense if we don't have knowledge of those things, or even have access to those things, including skills in certain foods. So yeah, that's what we're attempting to do, to not only restore our ability to control our own food, but also our ability to connect with what we come from. You know what I mean?
And it's all relative.
Yeah.
If you, when you're coming from, usually, usually there's food involved.
Yeah.
And the culture of who you are is what you're eating also.
For sure.
And so if the food that's around you, if it's not, I would say, contiguous to you,
yes,
then it's going to hurt you.
For sure.
And like
sure.
Eat to Live by Elijah Muhammad says that. I
Yes.
mean, that's in the book.
Yes.
That's a great book. How to Eat to Live. So, I mean, what you're saying is amazing. Is what we need to do. And if we can do it like alliances and do it like on this whole region, how amazing could that be?
Yeah. That's what we're working on. I mean, this work is about patience. We need to be able to understand what's going on so we can build power to address what we're actually looking at, rather than something different. And that's what we've been positioning ourselves to do and to support, so that we're moving in the direction of what you're speaking to, that is self-determined food economies. And so that's where we're going. And this moment has created that opportunity for us to take that next step toward materializing it, actualizing it.
And look at, so this moment for Black Yield is a reset. It's a creative movement. It's an alliance movement. You have more alliances and you're building more. So it has so many. I mean, we're saying that we're in this pandemic and it's chaotic, but it's some of the chaos being used for good.
We have to.
We have to.
Like, we absolutely have to. In fact, one thing I've been telling the team that I work with, and telling just our folks in this work, is that, like, we would be foolish to come out of this moment the same way that we came out of the moment after the murder of Freddie Gray. And I say that with critical eyes, that there was a lot of dollars that came to the city, a lot of eyes, a lot of attention. And I feel like largely we started programs that some of them are still around, some of them are not. But we didn't do that to build infrastructure, that help us, in these types of times. And so I'm just not willing to, at least for Black Youth Institute, I'm not willing to lead Black Youth Institute in a place where we're not able to create real infrastructure that moves toward that goal of Black land and food sovereignty. That's like, if it's not moving us toward control, we don't want to do that. And here's the moment to do it. So we don't want to squander our opportunity,
That is amazing. And you had the greatest comparison when it came to Baltimore City. Is there was a lot of money put in the city. After Freddie Gray, there was a lot of eyes. The people started to look at the plight of Black people, but there was no application to infrastructure.
Yeah.
So the money went everywhere, and it never. The community looks the freaking same.
Yeah.
And that's what we can't have. And one of your biggest, what are you doing? Like you're saying, you guys are collecting data. When you deal with them people, you got to have data.
For sure.
And so that is going to, you can say that you can grow, you can show that you guys have built this alliance, but that data
Yes.
is what brings in the resource.
For sure. For sure.
And so if you guys do all that, that is, I'm just like so impressed. So I know my 2% is going to yield black.
Yes, yes. So that's one thing too. Like when one of my in meditation one morning, it really came to me that this time has really forced me to be a better steward of my resources, my relationships, and my reason. And like that's been kind of the thing during this time. The last 3 weeks, I've been talking to the team and saying, look, this moment has really not only created opportunities, but it's created really the impetus to tighten up and get our stuff together. And so we're certainly utilizing this time to maximize what we're doing, and what we're ultimately doing through food is building Black power. Like that's it. I mean, ain't no cut cards about it, no sugarcoating it. That's exactly what we're doing. And if we don't come out of this moment getting closer to that, to some modicum of Black power, then I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing, and I'm not willing to stop it. So I'm not willing to have us go in any, other direction. So that's where we at.
I love it. Black power. And food is what can give, that's what food should do. It should be electric. It should make you powerful. It should give you energy. And if we get sovereignty in that, now we start to take back some stuff, because the trigger of this behavior that we see in Black males starts in food.
Certainly.
Starts in sugar, starts in these triggers in food, and no one talks about it. They said they talk about everything else, but no one talks about what they're ingesting.
Nutrition, yes.
And so it's so important for us we want to change behaviors and change the way that we move, and these health issues that we're having. It starts with how we eat. It all starts with that. So
for sure.
Brother Eric, I'm impressed. I can't wait I'm itching to get to them college and get out to Black Yield. And to have something like this in this city, in Baltimore is a great thing, because everyone talk about all of our ills and all of our issues, because we have them. Let's be clear.
Yeah, that's right.
But within our issues, we're building some great things, and Black Yield seems to be one of them.
Give thanks. Give thanks.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this is the 2-piece. So we had your pre. This is your post. And it's great to have an update on what you guys are doing. I'm going to actually come and see it. I wish you Godspeed in everything you guys do.
Give thanks.
To bless the ground so we can get some food up out of there. And what's the grower name? What's the farmer name? What's his name?
So our farmer, Brother Floyd, we call him Big Floyd with the chain. Big Floyd, he's been working very hard. One of the benefits of this time, we've actually been able to move some resources around to bring on an assistant farmer to support, so that we can accelerate what we're doing and produce food for our community. So it's been really good. This has been a great moment for us. And please, I'm looking forward to you being there to bless the space and see the space, and hopefully be blessed by the space as well.
Absolutely. We partners now. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know about that 7% though, but we've talked about
down to 2. Listen, I'm not greedy. You my brother. We went down to 2. 1 for me, 1 for G.
Hey, leave me out of it, yo. I ain't ask nothing.
I hear you, G. I appreciate that, Doc.
No, I ain't gonna say that.
That's all you.
I hear you.
I love it. So we're at the part of the interview with the last will and testament, and that's that jewel, bro. So lay something down for the people.
So I said earlier, about the 3 R's during this time. I am interested in not having COVID-19 turn into food apartheid 2021. I'm not interested in moving from this moment to returning to oppressive structures. And I think the way to do that, and the way that I am leading Black Yield Institute, and that I encourage anybody who's listening to be great stewards of the relationships that we're privileged to have, the resources that we have at our disposal, and our reason, our thinking. And so it's during this time where we've had to stop and listen and watch and to rest and have respite, that I believe that it's the time for us to think about and recalibrate how we are moving in terms of those relationships that we have with people, talking to our folks, with resources, making sure that we're not squandering money and land and other resources that we have, including the spiritual and emotional ones. And then our reasons, that we spend in time actually taking care of our brains. We're reading, we're listening to some powerful things, and that it's allowing us to create. So those are my thoughts, and that's what I've been meditating on. And I hope that in doing so, that we're able to live full lives in our personal lives, with the political work that we do, and that we're actually doing our ancestors proud. So I'm hoping that we do that. Resources, relationships, and reason. Ashe.
Shay, awesome. Chief?
Brother Eric, thank you so much for coming back and giving us an update on all the exciting things that are happening at Black Guild Institute and in the community. It's really great to see the progress that you've been able to make with your team over these last weeks since we last spoke. Is really amazing.
Give thanks. I appreciate it. And thank you all for what you do to educate our people, and for, amplifying the voices of people like myself and others who've been on the show and who will continue to. I pray many blessings for y'all. Thank y'all.
Absolutely. Thank you. If you are listening now and you've heard the before and after of this conversation and you want to hear more voices of the Rona Report, please visit blackboxradio.com. That's BLAKBOXXRADIO.com. You can also find Black Box Radio on Facebook and Instagram, and find us on Twitter at BoxBlack. That's BOXXBLAK. And if you're hearing my voice right now and you heard this conversation, we need your help to help spread the word. These voices are being suppressed on social media platforms. So share it with your friends and families so that everyone can hear these important voices.
All right. We're in that Rona Report. We just had Brother Eric from Black Guild. We appreciate you, Brother Eric. Always love.
Thank you.
So this is the Rona Report. The first one was, say it, G. I forgot already.
April 3rd.
All right. So we had a 5-3-20 with Brother Eric, and then today.
A 4-3-20.
Oh, 4-3-20, excuse me. And today is 5-6-20 for the update. So he gave us that 2-piece for power twice. Black power. We appreciate Brother Eric. We're in the Rona Report. Black Box Radio. We out. Please.